So as you can see, I did finish entering all the data into renters, and I have adjusted the column width, so now I'm going to close it. And we're going to be creating a table in design view. So we're going to go to create. They do want us to start over in datasheet view and then switch over to design. And we will key in the name of the table. And the first field that they have defined as a primary key, we are going to change. And we're going to call it EMP ID. This is short text. And we're going to enter the description. And so then down in the properties, we're going to change to 5. We're going to enter the next one, which is F name. That is short text. Enter the employee's first name. And then for the width on first name, they do not want 255. They would like 20 instead. So we'll come up here and do the next one, which is last name. And for last name, the width is going to be 30. We've got address. Now, I think some of these are really silly because they are pretty self-explanatory. I'm entering them because it's part of the assignment. However, if I was going to do this on my own, I would not enter the ones that are self-explanatory. City. And city has a width of 20. And we get into state. And we're going to set a default value on this. So we're going to tell them that CA is automatically entered as state. And we're going to come down here where default value is, and we're going to key in CA, press enter. And we're going to enter zip. And that is short text as well. Kind of a general rule of thumb is that if you're dealing with a number that you are not going to use in arithmetic, you enter it as text. And that's going to be 5. And then we're going to do telephone. And again, that is short text. And this one we do want to display formatted. So we are going to apply something called an input mask. And you notice the input masks in datasheet view when you're entering data. So we're going to come down here to input mask and click. And then we're going to click on these 3 black dots. And we'll say, yes, we're going to save our table. But those 3 black dots actually launch a wizard that will help you format this field. And you can see there is a format for telephone number. So we're going to go ahead and click on next. And they would like for the characters to use the pound for the placeholder. So we are going to turn that on. And then we're going to click on next. And we do want the telephone number stored with the parentheses and the dash. So we're going to turn that first option on. Click on next. And then we're going to hit finish. And here's the input mask. And where you will see this is in datasheet view when we start entering the telephone number. It's actually very nice because it's put the parentheses and the dash in for us. So then we're going to come up to our fields and enter hire date, which is a date. So I'm going to do a D for date. And I'm going to come over and do the little description. And then we do need to do a little formatting on this. Now, the formatting that they want an input mask, and they also want us to apply the same format as the mask. So I'm going to click the 3 periods here. And they want medium date. So that's the format they want. So we'll click on next. And they don't want any special characters, so we're going to do next and hit finish. So we've got the medium date, but then the format that we want it stored in is also going to be medium date. So we're going to click on format. We're going to click the list arrow, and we're going to choose medium date here as well. So now the mask that's going to display over in datasheet view matches how we are going to store the data that is in this date field. And below hire date, we have health insurance. And this is yes or no, so we're going to do a Y for yes, no. And we want to leave a check mark if the employee is signed up for health insurance. So the default value here does need to be yes. Okay, the check mark needs to be in there. So we're going to change the default value from no to yes. I'm going to scroll down here and do my last field, which is dental insurance. That is also yes and no. And this says insert check mark if employee is signed up for dental insurance. So the default here should stay no, okay, because it says to insert a check mark if the employee is signed up. That would indicate there is no check mark there to begin with. So at this point, we have all of our fields and our properties set. So we're going to hit save to save our changes. Then we're going to go over to datasheet view and enter all of the records. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, is there an easier way than going across by column or by row? You can enter by column. The one field that is required in all of the records is the primary key. So that would be employee ID. So if you would prefer to do it by column, you can do that. I'm just pressing the down arrow key. And I'm using the numeric keypad. Entering data isn't always very fun. Okay, so at this point, we've got the employee IDs entered. So we come up and start in on first name. And then to go down in the column, I'm basically just pressing the down arrow key. So you can figure out, what works best for you. If it works best to press tab and go across by row, that's fine. If you find it easier and faster to enter by column, that is okay. You just have to make sure you enter the primary key first. And then I'll click at the top of the next column. So I think you guys are getting the hang of doing it this way as opposed to by row. And it's a matter of personal preference. And then we'll do address. When you are done, you are going to want to best fit. You can kind of do this as you go. Okay, so after I enter address, I can best fit that column as well. And I'm going to turn off the video because you don't need to see me entering all the rest.